The other week I had some very interesting feedback from a client of mine who had interviewed a candidate of mine. Now the client of mine is working within the digital media industry, which, as those of you who are involved in it would know, is a very, very buoyant sort of boom time area. And the candidate they were interviewing was someone who was very keen to move into that digital space, who was working for a company that we might lazily label as being old media at the moment, so not really from a digital background per se, although obviously there was always elements of digital in there somewhere. So this was kind of someone, if you like, a candidate looking to shift from a non-digital media platform into a digital media platform. Now, the reason the client of mine, decided to not pursue this person beyond that first interview was not that they interviewed badly or that they didn't have a decent background. The issue was they didn't feel this person had enough digital expertise. Now, I'm just going to stress this point. They weren't saying digital experience. They knew the person's background was non-digital. They knew that from the resume, obviously from discussions with me about the candidate and why he or she was good. So they knew that was the issue. That wasn't the deal breaker. The issue was expertise. They didn't feel, after having sort of a 40-50 minute conversation with that person at the interview, that they knew enough about that digital world that they would be stepping into. Now, the digital world is this applies to lots, I guess, of sort of tech sectors. The digital world will often be probably quite rightly accused of almost deliberately creating quite a lot of smoke and mirrors and creating this sort of dazzlingly mystical array of difficulty around it and sort of subterfuge, and making it seem very difficult for outsiders to understand what goes on. Now, that's probably true. I guess the counter argument to that is that digital does tend to have a lot of elements to it. There are lots of different types of execution. There are lots of different advertising and business models. It does change really, really quickly. That's indisputable. And so you do often find there's probably a lot more to learn perhaps than there might be in some other sectors like, say, radio, TV, magazine publishing, outdoor advertising. These are all very important sectors, but they're ones that's probably a little bit easier to get to grips with quickly than digital. So the digital guys will sometimes use that as a bit of a way of not hiring people who don't have that background. So if you don't have the right digital background, what are your options? Well, I guess on the one hand, you can just simply, to some extent, as this candidate did, is kind of throw yourself upon the mercy of a digital hiring manager and hope that he or she is willing to spend the time, the money, the effort in if you like, getting you up to speed or giving you the time to get yourself up to speed whilst you're being employed by that company. But as all of us know, of course, time equals money, and time in that sense might equal money not being earned because this person doesn't yet know enough to be as successful as we want them to be. So you've got to be really, really mindful of that from an employer's point of view. They're sitting there going, they're not thinking, oh great, we can teach Mark all about this. What they're thinking is, oh God, how long is it going to take to get Mark up to speed? And how much money might we lose or forego the opportunity to earn whilst we wait for Mark to get to that level we want him to be at? Now, the alternative, of course, is that you take more control of it yourself. And that you can try and show, even in the interview stages, that you are a lot closer to where they need you to be than they might perhaps expect from your background. There's lots and lots of free information online, obviously. There are loads of great courses you can do that are free or practically free, which in many ways are probably every bit as good as the ones that you could pay an awful lot of money for. And I'm not necessarily suggesting that's always a great idea, so definitely shop around and get some advice on that. But the more knowledge that you can have during your interview, the more you can make a company feel that they can get a good return on investment in you very, very quickly. So that's the key, I think, is to take ownership of that issue, make sure it's your burden, your responsibility rather than theirs, and you're much more likely to get a company that's willing to take a little bit of a chance on you. So good luck.